win $535 million. Of course, that is a lot of money. So what should you do if you win? Certified financial planner with Future Finances Incorporated, Brad Huffman, is here with some great advice. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. It's going to change your life. Some good, maybe some a little bad. So you've really got to be cautious. Again, I hope it's something we all have to worry about, but reality is maybe not.
Right. Or maybe some of us have to worry about. All right, let's start first of all. You say the first thing to do is actually do nothing.
Yeah, the first step is actually, I think, the hardest and the easiest. The reason is a lot of people feel like, okay, we've got this money. So if it's $500 million, there's some things you really got to be prepared for. But maybe it's something more modest, $10,000. You really want to be careful. First, don't tell everybody. I think that can be a very dangerous thing. One, it opens you up to exploitation. So you want to be cautious. But I think you also need to kind of absorb what's next. When you have this money, it doesn't mean you have to do something immediately. So sit back, relax, maybe talk to a few experts and get an idea of what's going on, but don't feel like I absolutely have to do something tomorrow. That's not the case. Take your time.
So don't quit right away.
Don't quit right away. Wait till the check clears. I promise you that's an important thing.
There we go. And then the next thing you say is to check your debt.
Check your debt. Newfound cash, absolutely wonderful opportunity to eliminate debt. That's the first thing that I look at when I'm meeting with somebody who's got a new influx of capital. What do you have on the debt side that we need to worry about? And the number one thing is always going to be credit cards. Credit cards are expensive. They're going to eat into your wealth. Interest rates could go past 20%. So if you've got cash like that, go after it. Pay it off, or at least reduce it significantly, because that's a great way to start helping yourself personally, financially.
And next you say emergency ready. What do you mean by that?
Emergency ready. So once you've tackled that high interest rate debt, which I think, in my opinion, is the first thing you need to do, next thing is build that emergency fund. You really do need to have some cash set aside. In fact, I've got a vehicle being repaired this morning. There's always costs that come up that you don't anticipate. Use some of that cash, put it in a savings account, put it in a checking account, have it ready. So if there's an issue, you're not turning to a credit card. That's always, in my opinion, should be the last resort. You want to have some cash on hand to do that. Certainly $500 million is a big emergency fund, more than you need probably.
Right.
But at least a few $1,000s in the bank, and newfound money is the perfect way to do that.
And then I know when people have that newfound money, they think about investing.
Absolutely. And this, again, once you've tackled the other two, which I think are very critical to address first, hopefully there's some money left over, looking at the investing side. And that can really be a very vast space. You can look at retirement planning, education planning. Maybe you just want to build a stock portfolio. It's a very important step. I hope that you got enough cash you can do that, because that's really where the wealth building comes. The other steps are really kind of securing the ship. The invest is really how you can expand and really make it a true wealth building exercise. And
then if you do win, people always talk about, okay, do you take the one lump sum, or do you take it, in the increments? What's the best to do?
Personally, you take the lump sum, because that puts it in your hand. You can actually do something with it. If you're going to take that and just put it in a hole in the ground, maybe you take the payments over time. But if you're going to take that, follow those steps, particularly on the invest side, over 10, 20 years, you can make that pot $1 billion or more if you do the right thing.
And do you have to also then consider the taxes that you have to pay?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. When it comes to a huge lump sum, I've never worked with anybody that's got a half a million dollars coming in, but even 100,000 or $1 million or whatever, those considerable sums. You really do want to know, and that first step, that do nothing, it's not necessarily doing nothing, but not do anything with the money, but really get advice on what you need to do. Because taxes, unfortunately, there's a lot of horror stories where people get large sums of money and only get themselves in trouble because they didn't ask the right questions.
All right, Brad Huffman, some great advice for us this morning, and hopefully maybe someone here will win.
There we go.
We'll be right back.